Next, it's Benjamin, and he's going to tell us why Sam Smith is apparently a great role model. Yeah. Start the clock.
Buckle up, Britain. Sam Smith is a role model because they have been, and they are using they, them pronouns, which I'm sure the rest of the panel will stick to. This week, Sam has been labelled as a Satanist and a pervert. Why? Well, because at the first edition of their tour in Sheffield, they were seen gyrating in a thong, and in a music video you can watch Sam Smith being sprayed with fountains of water surrounded by scantily clad dancers. Well, you know what I say, good on them. But also some people say that it might be like paedophilia, because what if kids see this stuff? Well, the truth is no kid has to watch a music video, and if a parent takes them to a concert by Sam Smith, well, that's something called parental responsibility, not the fault of the pop star.
10 seconds.
And so that's why I say that we should celebrate Sam Smith as a great British success story, and the God Squad should sod off.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I'm sure that hasn't ruffled any feathers at all. Dominique, do you believe in freedom?
I don't think he's a great British success story at all.
Wait.
I think it's a really sad thing what's happened to Sam Smith. He's spiralled into the depths of depravity, and that's what's really sad, because he has an amazing voice. You know, he has a soulful, angelic voice, and instead of using that beautiful voice to uplift people and make them feel good, he's using it to promote his own interests by just being gross and disgusting.
I mean, I'm sorry, but first of all, Sam Smith has 6 Grammys, an Oscar, a Golden Globe.
He's talented.
One of the most successful British artists that we have ever produced. And the idea that you claim to care about freedom, but then sit there and try and dictate what clothing, what shape of cloth someone can wear, or what other people in this country can celebrate as art.
Hey,
that isn't freedom, that's tyranny, Dominique.
You are waxing lyrical here. You sound very moralistic and quite frankly deluded, in my opinion. I'm not saying that Sam Smith should be arrested for being gross. I'm saying that Sam Smith is being gross and should be mindful about his behaviour. Yes, it's a parent's responsibility whether or not they take a child to a Sam Smith concert, but why does Sam Smith feel the need to expose himself in such a gross way? And I think it denigrates his actual talent.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not about need, it's about the fact that people can do what they want in a free country. But look, you know, Darren, what do you make of this?
Well, look, I saw a video of and I think it was outside one of his concerts. There was a little 5-year-old girl, and her mother was saying, "Oh, she loves you, she dances, she does all of your dance moves." And I thought, for the love of God, she does the dance moves because he's wearing next to nothing. He's gyrating and rubbing himself and all the rest of it. What happened to this beautiful, angelic British voice? This lovely, lovely looking bloke who, you know, back then, I think a fair few of us on this panel would probably have said was good looking, right?
Well, may I just explain to viewers at home what exactly he was looking like if you haven't seen it? He's basically a slightly overweight man who is a very popular singer. He was, well, parading his body on stage in a sparkly thong, I think. Fishnets, perhaps?
Fishnets.
Thigh-high boots or ankle-high boots or whatever, looking very provocative, doing very weird dance moves. Yes, you could argue it's kind of similar to Miley Cyrus or Madonna or Beyonce at some points in her life. But I think the thing that annoys people is Sam Smith has told people that they must call him they, them. He says that he is non-binary. And as part of this whole, I guess, exploration of his new identity, it does seem rather over-the-top, attention-seeking and perhaps a little gross. But of course, we have the freedom to disapprove, and he has the freedom to do it.
I mean, look, Sam Smith has said that when they were a teenager, when they were at school, they wore what we consider female clothes. So the idea that the idea that it popped up as a publicity stunt, I think, is unfair.
No, I don't think that's unfair at all. I think it's very evident that in today's society, the more gross you can be, the more props you'll get from the disgusting Hollywood elite. But I would just say, lastly, when people mention Beyonce, Madonna, Miley Cyrus, I don't think that's right either. And when people say it has to be one or the other, you know, it's not just because he's non-binary. It's not because he's a man. It's not because, you know, he's not particularly in shape. It's because it's just gross.
I mean, Albie, did you ever celebrate these kind of artists when you were a kid?
Yeah, of course I did. One of my favourite singers as a child was Christina Aguilera. Me and my sisters were slut-dropping to Dirty when we were in the early noughties. You know,
Goodness
we were
me.
very young doing that, and I
That's
think I.
great. Can you
give
I
us
think
an
I've done.
audition?
No, I won't do it now. The viewers won't want to see it. But the point is, Dominique, I think there is something in what Benjamin is saying about freedom. Freedom is about fighting for people to do things that you vehemently disagree with, as much as it is to do with people that you really agree with. And unfortunately, I think when it comes to these debates about Sam Smith or other people who we disagree with, everyone says, oh, it's terrible, he shouldn't be doing it, let's ban it. No, that's not what freedom is about. Freedom is about people being free to do what they please, as long as they're not harming other people, and that's what I believe in.
Anyone's on the panel has yet said that they would outright ban it.
Dominique, do you think we should ban it?
I don't think we should ban it, but
Well,
I
you
think...
do.
No,
Come on.
I don't think
you
we should
do.
ban it.
You spend
I think
all your
that-
time
I think
pretending
we
to
should
be
have-
outraged about
I'm
the
not
way
pretending.
that Sam Smith looks, that it's
No.
offensive to kids.
I think it is.
If that's not calling for a ban, I don't know what is.
It is really damaging for a child to drink in and see that sort of behaviour.
No, it's
And
not.
the whole they, them
yes,
nonsense,
it is.
the
It's
gender
because
identity
that,
stuff.
That child will then think that sort of behaviour.
What, that they can be who
is
they want to
normal.
be?
It's being who you want to be. It's not about being overtly sexual and wearing barely any clothing. That is promoting an incorrect and very dangerous view of what one's self-value is. One's self-value is not wearing thigh-high boots and slut-dropping. That's
Yes,
deluding.
but I'm
It's a
sorry.
cry for help.
Is
This
it-
big man rubbing himself on a stage like that. I think it's a cry for help.
Because he's so desperately trying to convince everyone else that he's happy, he's this role model. And I think behind the scenes he's probably quite depressed.
I'm sorry. I don't think Sam Smith is trying to convince you of anything, Dominique. Sam Smith is someone who is living their life, who feels comfortable in their body. And the truth is, let's be honest about this, that Sam is a slightly larger guy, not larger person, not that big, right?
Bit chubs.
Oh my God.
But yeah, by mistake. But you know what? If this was someone a man with a six-pack, if this was, Beyonce, right? I don't think you'd see any of the level of outrage. And I also don't think you'd see it if it was a straight person. It's fat phobia and homophobia.
Well, they're
think
not
it's also-
trying to ram gender identity
Well,
down the
that's the
throats of the
Oh,
nation's young
Darren.
people.
How is Sam Smith
Hang on, he's
doing that?
responsible for one of the awards ceremonies removing gendered awards.
Categories, yeah.
It was for him that they stopped doing female and male categories.
But that
and what
was a-
happened? All the men won the spots.
But that was a stupid decision, in my opinion, on behalf of the organisers of the Brit Awards and the Grammys, not on Sam Smith. That should have been a request that they denied. It's the responsibility of the organisers, not Sam Smith, for asking.
And when you go and buy a song, you don't get a man's chart and a woman's chart each week. The kind of awards that we're eligible for, like Best Presenter at the National Television Awards, they don't have a male and female Best Presenter. They just have Best Presenter.
That profess to be, I care about everyone, I'm left-wing, I'm woke. Like, you don't understand the historical significance of having gendered categories. There were times where women in the music industry and otherwise weren't taken seriously, and that's why...
It's still the case.
Yeah, well, I mean...
There were no female Brit Award winners, and there was no British female winner at the Brit Awards.
Right, well,
this year.
there you go. And just in generally, I'm just worried by propping up people like Sam Smith that promote this selfish view of pleasure at any cost. I need to slut drop, I need to wear heels at any cost just because I need to be happy. I'm just scared about the impact it has on children.
Well, speaking of history lessons, high heels were invented for men. They weren't invented for women.
Well, I'm sure,
so people can wear high heels however they like.
Back in the day, they weren't going around in thigh-high stripper heels.
Well, I think they'd have been better if they were. But you know
Right then.
Emily, you seem to be in the middle of this. Do you not think that it's outrageous to start comparing it to paedophiles or Satanists?
Oh,